All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another upload of It's a Dyer Thing. Rob here. And before we go any further, don't forget to hit that notification and the subscription. This way you'll always be up to date on everything we do. So, happy 2024 to all of you. Sorry, it's been a long time that I haven't posted anything. Been taking a break over the long winter months, but spring is now officially here. We are now in the middle of March. Not out yet playing with the bikes, but we are almost there. And speaking of which, we are now only 60 more days until our super awesome Tennessee trip. Anyways, that's gonna be a whole lot of fun, but we will be getting out and we will be riding a whole lot soon. And god damn it, those birds are just never stopping every time I talk. So what are we doing here today? Well, you know, over the winter months I've been having a lot of good fun time eating. No, I'm kidding. But I've been kind of enjoying myself and just kind of doing some new things. And one of the things I did was I found this super wicked awesome recipe online, and I will put the link down below so this way you can also follow along. But I'll also put the descriptions, all the information in the description down below so you can kind of follow it that way too. It's called Cowboy Candied Jalapenos. Let's get to it. Yeah. So, what is candy jalapeno peppers? Well, no, sorry. Candy cowboy or cowboy candy jalapeno peppers. Anyways, something along those lines. It's cowboys and it's candy and it's jalapenos. It's sweet and spicy and all the good stuff. And this is what we're doing today. So, what does it consist of? Well, as the name is, it's candy, that's sugar, and there's jalapeno. There you go. So, it's a fairly simple process. I mean, heck, if I can do it, you all can do it. Trust me, right? So there's only a couple of ingredients here. That's all it takes in order to do this. So first, we're going to have 30, for this recipe that we're doing here today, is going to be 30 jalapenos, all diced up and ready to go, right? So there's 30 of them. We're going to have 3 cups of granulated sugar, 1 cup of the apple cider vinegar. I use the Bragg's because I think the Bragg's is the best tasting one out there. And then from there, we're gonna have some garlic powder. We're gonna have some celery seed and some turmeric. And that's a quarter and a half. So again, or no, quarter and 1 tablespoon, right? So just you guys can check that all out and put it all together. There we go. So sugar, a couple of spices, some apple cider vinegar, and then some jalapenos and a big pot. And then from there, we're gonna put them in tiny little mason jars. And so we'll get them set up. So the first thing we gotta do is gonna do the wet ingredient. So we're gonna start bringing that up to a boil. And so we're gonna put all this into a medium heat. We're gonna give it a good stir. And as we're doing that, it's going to start changing the chemicals inside it, and it's going to start making a god-awful smell. So I strongly advise you, if you have anybody there that is kind of sensitive, I would have to say, in regards to strong odor smell, especially from the apple cider vinegar, that you guys either go out for the afternoon or just not be around as you're cooking this, or if you have some way to cook it outside, I would definitely say do that. Anyways, so let's get this started, and then from there we'll kind of put all the ingredients in, and you can kind of tag along as I go ahead and do this. So let's go. All right, so the first thing first, I mean, basically it's prep time. It takes around 20 minutes, and then cooking time is another 25 minutes. So the total time within 45 minutes to you know, almost an hour, you're done, canned, jarred, and all, right? So it's pretty simple, straightforward. So the first thing is you're gonna basically take the jalapenos, clean them out and this and that, and then you're gonna dice them up, chop them up. You can take the inner stems out. I normally leave them in because I kind of like the crunch and stuff like that. And then I also leave the seeds and stuff, which I don't find it seems to be a bother. Once it does boil up, it does soften up too, right? So anyways, from that, we're going to now, in the large pot, which is basically what I've got here, we're going to get the heat going on here. So we're going to, in the large pot, we're going to add the apple cider vinegar, all the spices, and then the sugar. Simple. Right, here we go. I don't know if I can turn you guys down to see what we're going on here. No, not really, eh? Oh, that's a bit of a bummer. So anyways, we're gonna bring all this, so basically into the large pot, apple cider vinegar, white sugar, garlic powder, turmeric, celery seed, and then bring to a boil. So I'm going to put it at a number 7, so not a super high heat, but a high enough heat. And I'm gonna use my, no, Amber likes using that one, so I'm going to use this one here. And basically, I'm just kind of stir it nice and slowly, right? Because I find that's always the best thing to do. So we're going to bring to a boil, and then we're going to reduce the heat about to medium low and let it simmer for around 5 minutes. So as you can see, this is what it is right now. So I've got my heat set to number 8, and that's just going to kind of slowly bring up the heat without bringing it to a super fast boil. So let's kind of get that going there. And I'm just going to kind of stir it around so we get a nice consistent, but yeah, you definitely can, you're definitely getting the smell out of that. That's just the apple cider vinegar. And you think like, oh my God, like it's going to taste like horrible. Right at the beginning, yes, but once you get it in the jars, and from there, once you jar it, you have to put it in the refrigerator, and you've got to leave it in there for 3 weeks. Just to let it mature even before you can start eating it. Now, once you're in the 3rd week, then you can go ahead and give it a try and give it a test. And it is just like, oh my God, it's so good. It's super sweet with a little bit of heat, man. Well, a little bit more than just a little bit of heat, but it is so good. Everybody I've been giving it to, they've been raving, they've been absolutely loving it. So, it's really, really awesome. It's super good on your steaks, on your hot dogs, on your pork chops, whatever you want it, even on cheese and crackers, man. It's just absolutely fantastic. So, anyways, we're getting this as this is starting to dissolve. Once it dissolves, we're going to let it simmer for 5 minutes, and then from there, we're actually going to be putting the jalapenos in there, and then we're going to be stirring those, and those are going to kind of juice up and kind of extract the flavors into all of this together, and it's going to make like a really nice syrup. And then from that, we're going to have to take the jalapenos back out. Those are going to go into a container, which then I can start jarring them up. And then from that, I continue to boil it off. And then from there, I'll put this into the jars and then the jalapenos back into that. So once we get this to a boil, you can see what's going on. All right, so now it's just about to hit to a boil. So once I can start seeing some bubbles coming up, we're going to now bring it down to a medium low and let that simmer for 5 minutes. So in the meantime, when I was doing that, I also now prepared my jars. Last time I did it, I did half of the quantity. So that was only 15 peppers, and that actually provided me with almost 4 jars. So I'm doubling it up. So I would have to say probably 8 jars. We'll see. I won't pack the jars up as much, but there we go. So now we are into a boil. So let me just give it a nice little stir just to make sure everything is good here. All right, so we are now getting into a boil. Let's bring this temperature down to a medium low. So medium low, right? So in between. Now we'll let that simmer. I do like to stir it every once in a while. As you can see, it's kind of getting all frothy, right? So that's pretty cool. This is exactly what we want it to do. Again, if I can do it, you can do it. Fairly simple. So. And then, so there we go. Let's move this out of the way. We don't need this anymore. That goes there, that goes there. And then let that simmer for 5 minutes. And once the timer's been on, so we are now 8:19. So at 8:23, 8:24, give or take a few seconds, we'll then stir in the peppers. So as you can see right now, that is a perfect simmer. We're not creating too much of a bubble where it's giving that frothed effect, but it's just a nice little consistent little boil like that, a nice little simmer, and that's exactly what you want, right? All right, so there you go. So I've kind of readjusted everything here so you can actually see it a little bit better. So that is now being 5 minutes, and so what we're going to do now is bring the heat back up to a boil again. So let's bring it back up to a number 8. That will bring the boil right back up. Before we go any further, I do want to let you guys know this is kind of staining to your cookware. So If you are using like a very special pot or ladle or whatever you want it to do this, I would say probably don't use your most favorite one, because it does leave an odor. It takes a while for it to go away, and it does leave a bit of a stain. So just be mindful on that. So I would say if you want to do this, go get yourself something that you're not so very much attached to, because yeah, it will leave a bit of a memory of your cooking experiences onto this. So we're just bringing this back up to a medium high again. So let's bring it up to a medium high, bring it to a boil, and once we're down at a boil, we're going to then start adding in the pepper. So I think that's almost getting to a nice good boil, and then we'll slowly add these peppers. So that's the one. Good old jalapenos, man. Ooh, doggy. All right, so let me just get this a little quick stir. That's one there. And that's gonna bring temperature right back down again, because these peppers were room temperature. So once you're gonna do that, you're gonna bring this back up to a boil again. And you'd be thinking like, oh my God, there's way too many peppers for the amount of sauce in here. But the peppers itself, they're gonna produce a lot of juices as well. And they're also gonna shrink right down too, right? So let's get this stir going here. It's crazy. That's a lot of asp peppers, man. So it'll take a couple of minutes here for this to bring back up again. So right now, basically, I just added the peppers, and that kind of brought the temperatures right down, and I'm just giving them a stir. As you saw, there was quite a lot of peppers when I first initially introduced them into the pot. Now as the heat is starting to kick back up again, I do like to keep it covered, because I do like to keep all the moisture and the steam inside there. Just as I'm doing it, once I get it up to a boil, then I'll kind of take the cover off. But as you can see how much the peppers now have resided into the pot itself, right? So it was kind of like up to here. We've already went halfway, and you can see the juices and the oils are right there. So as the peppers are now extracting their moisture and their juices into the syrup, this is where it's creating that nice spicy flavored syrup together, right? So what we've got to do right now, as the heat's kicking back up again, we need to bring this back up to a boil. So we're bringing this up onto a medium-high heat. Once we get a consistent, nice boil, then I'll bring the temperature back down again to a medium-low heat, and let that again simmer for 4 to 5 minutes, as it kind of now evaporates all the extra water, or the water content in the air. Just leaving more of a syrup finish to it. And then once that's done, then I'm going to start spooning out just like that, and start jarring them into these little mason jars. So I like to use the little mason jars versus the big ones. I find not only that you don't overdo the amount of peppers, but you kind of get a nice good consistent taste throughout the whole batch, right? So, and then this way, a nice little jar like that is perfect for gifts and stuff. And then you don't feel like you're obligated, because once you do open it, it's then good for 3 to 4 months in the fridge. So it takes again 3 weeks for the peppers to mature and the flavors to kind of really fuse themselves together. Once that happens, then it's good. It's in the fridge. You can then open it up and start enjoying it. But once you do open it up, then it needs to be consumed within at least 3 months. So just be mindful of that. So if you're going with a big jar, as long as you're eating a lot of time, then that's okay. But I find the smaller ones are just a little bit more practical in regards to how often you want to eat this. But then again, each to their own. So that's what I like to do. You don't have to do the pressure seal on your mason jars. So basically you're filling up 3/4 of a way with the peppers. You're going to put just the last little top it up with the syrup. Once you're done with that, we still have some extra stuff to do to the syrup after we take the peppers out. And then after that, you just basically cap it, seal it, and put it away, right? So where are we now? It's still not coming up to a boil, but it will get there very soon. So as we do that, every once in a while I give it a stir. I don't want to stir too much because I don't want to agitate the peppers too much. I do like to keep them in a nice good whole quality, because as they heat up now, they become a little bit more fragile, and you don't want them to break in pieces, right? So nice to have them in perfect little dollar shaped sizes, right? So it's getting there. All right, so now things are really starting to get a move on here. So as you can see, the peppers have resided quite a bit. So this is the same amount of peppers that was initially put into there, right? So this is 30 peppers, and then it's now brought right down almost to just a little bit, maybe 1/3 of this pot here. So now we are just getting to a nice, good rolling boil. And this is again now where we're going to then transfer our heat back down to, again, medium low, right? So I think I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds just to get a good hard boil. I like to see the things moving and all the chemical reactions happening here, and it's just getting super, super good. Look at that. I mean, that's so good. Now, again, remember guys, it does produce an odor. It does create a bit of a stench. So for you guys who are nose sensitive when it comes to cooking in the house, please be warned. If you don't have a very good heat extractor or a good fan, maybe you'd want to think about doing this outside if you can, but you know, or just do it when there's nobody around and stuff like that, right? So this is perfect. But yeah, the ladies of the house did just forewarn me that, oh my God, what is that smell again, right? So they know exactly what's happening. The second they see that I bring some chili or some jalapeno peppers home, they know exactly what's going to go on. So there we go. So now we brought the heat down. We're going to let it simmer now for 4 minutes. So again, now it's now 8:39. So time frame I think is a little bit longer than what the recipe calls for, but that also depends on the pot you're using and the oven that you're using, and how much you want to increase your temperatures and decrease your temperatures, and how rapidly. I like to do it nice and slow, nice and easy. The transitions are good. So I'm going to leave the cover off because we're going to allow the water to evaporate and just kind of keep just the syrup there. That's the sugary syrup. That's what we were after. That's what makes this whole recipe just absolutely freaking phenomenal. So in 4 more minutes, I'm going to then take my slotted spoon here, and then I'm going to start scooping out the actual peppers, trying to keep the syrup inside to the pot. We're going to get them put away into these little glass jars. Again, we'll see how many I can fill up. Again, I don't want to overdo it, but just enough. And then we're going to change the chemical balance again of the syrup that's going to be left behind, where we have to bring that back up to another rolling boil and kind of give that a constant stir every so slowly, and allow that to boil for at least 6 minutes, just to pull in all the sugars and all the spices from the jalapenos. And then from that we can kind of shut it off, and then we'll start spooning out the syrup and putting that, topping it off onto the jars that's got the jalapenos as their setting. And while that's all still hot, then I will cover them up. So let's get to that and see how things go. So all right, so now we're at the 4 minute mark, and we're going to start jarring these things. So it's simple procedure. Right, so you kind of fill it up like that, and that's around about a quarter from the top, without it being too compressed, too packed, and you just kind of keep on doing that. Again, allowing the spoon and your juices to go back into the pot, because we're going to need to finish off with the syrup. But it's pretty simple, right? Give or take. Right. So again, the first time I made the batch, I was only able to make 3 small containers, but now I've made this as a full recipe. So let's see what this brings us here. So, well, we're definitely going to be making, I'd have to say, maybe almost 12 here. It looks like it's going to be the full container, full set case of the mason jars, which will be really, really nice. So, ouch, hot. I might just top them up a little bit more, and then again the syrup will fill up any of the voids that are in there, but you definitely want to add some syrup and not just have just the peppers alone, right? I don't think I have any big mason jars, but we shall see. So, well, that's 5. We've got a lot, man. Oh, it's gonna be good. Perfect for gifts, right? So this was introduced to me. Where I got this from was Scott, my manager from work. When every time in the summer, us group in the service department, I kind of like to bring my cooker, portable cooker, and we cook hot dogs and stuff like that out in the backyard at work during lunchtime, right? So that one day we decided to do that. Scott and his partner were also making this stuff here, and he brought in a jar for us to sample. And the day he did that, oh my God, I had fallen in love with those peppers. So I said, I am determined to make myself some. So this is where we're at. And now I've done quite a few batches myself, and I have given a batch back to him, and he was thoroughly impressed with it. So again, wow, okay, this is way more than I thought for the little jars. Let me get some more little jars going on here. Well, I would have to say my count is way off. I don't know what happened there, what I did. Like I said, last time I did it, I only did half a batch, half of the quantity of peppers and stuff like that. Today I did the full quantity of peppers. So again, I'm not sure where the numbers went, but this is where we're at now, right? So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 jars. 20 jars of good old goodness, right? So anyways, we're now, I just finished spooning out all these peppers here. So now we've got to bring the syrup back up to a medium-high boil, and then I got to kind of let it boil like that. Let me just read my notes here, just so we are on the right path here. So now that the only syrup should be remaining in the pot at this point, increase the heat, bring it back up to a full rolling boil, and a boil for approximately around 6 minutes. And then from that, I don't want to bring it up too much of a high boil, but just a good nice roll boil. Now what I like to do is almost half the pot, right? So half on the heat and the other half off. What that does is it kind of gets a nice circulation rolling, right? So you don't always have to constantly stir it, but this way it's not getting an extreme heat, but it is kind of rolling boil. I guess that's what they would refer to it as, right? So once we do that, I can now let that sit. As you can see, all the water is now extracting, but the syrup is staying in there. And then from there, I will go ahead and take the ladle here, and I will start just filling up each one with as much syrup as I can. Hopefully, this is where I remember I ran into a bit of a hiccup where I didn't have enough syrup for all the containers. So I will just add in 1 spoonful. Hopefully there's enough 20 spoons of syrup in here that at least I can add enough syrup to those containers. So that's quite a bit. I find most of the people actually use the bigger mason jars, I guess, so this way you can fill it up and then not have to have so much syrup in there, but I think it still comes out to the same way, regardless if you have a bigger jar, more peppers, but still need more syrup, whereas smaller jars, less peppers, still a main amount of syrup, right? So we shall see. But yeah, I will fill them up, and if I have to kind of pack up some more jars with more peppers and less syrup, we'll just do that. So we'll figure it out. So it's now 7:57, so we've got 3 and 3. So by 8, within 6 minutes or less than that, we've been talking now for the past minute and a half. So within 4.5 minutes, we can start spooning the sauce into the jars, get them sealed up, and let's be done with it. So let that cool down room temperature, then I can start putting them in the fridge for the long haul. I do put a date on it, so I know exactly what date they've been refrigerated, and then from there 3 weeks from now, we get to enjoy it. So here, if you want to see exactly what the finish is. So this is an open jar here. So basically, as you can see, you got the peppers in there and the sauce in that. Here. Oh, here, smell. Oh, it smells so good, but these peppers are awesome. Still got a bit of a little crunch to it, right? But so sweet. Oh, and then the heat kicks in right after, but just so freaking good, right? Oh, I don't know. I got to bring some back down to the farmer's market where I picked up the peppers because they did ask for a jar because I emptied out their whole inventory, right? So I might do that. You never know. They may be asking me to bring some jars down there to sell, right? So we'll see what happens with what goes with that. But it's simple enough. Not hard to do. Quite enjoyable, but does leave a bit of a smell. So there we go. Nice rolling boil. Everything is moving around, so I don't need to keep stirring it. And almost done. Oh, kiwi! All right, so I did fill them all up, but then, like I said, I was running into a bit of a snag where I didn't have enough juices, enough syrup. So after filling all of them up, I then had to remove 4. So I basically just kind of separated 4 peppers and kind of filled them all up instead of filling up 3/4 like the recipe says. Fill them all up, and then I was able to kind of fill up all with all the juices. And this is where we're now at, just kind of jarring it up. But simple enough, right? So filled it up, got the juices all the way up to the top, and this way it's going to allow it to kind of really get itself set in there and create an awesome super syrup with the sweet and the heat. But there you have it. It's pretty simple. Like I said, I prefer the small jars. I find the small jars are perfect for gifts or perfect for sale. All right, you can. That's an awesome jar, and that's enough to last you for quite some time. So it is a bit sticky. So as I fill it all up, my hands are getting gooey. I do like to fill them all the way up, just to so there's no air in there, right? And this way I find it tends to preserve a lot better, a lot longer. Oh, messy. So 2, 4, 6. So we made out of the 30 peppers, right, and all the content and following this ingredients here, with these are 125 milliliter mason jars. We managed to make 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 jars, right? Again, that's quite a bit. That's a lot when you really consider it. Hey, what's going on with this mason jar? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to wipe them down as well, right? So once we get them all sealed up. Hot! Once we get them all sealed up, I'll let them cool down into room temperature. And then from there, get them put in the fridge, and they'll be ready for sale or ready for gifts. So there you have it, guys. I mean, it's a lot of fun. A little bit stinky, but man, it's so well worth it. The taste of these things are just absolutely phenomenal. Yum. So Cowboy Candied Jalapeno, just for you guys. Till next time, we got a lot more coming soon for 2024, man. We're getting out. We're gonna ride. Like I said, we have the super trip coming up, and just to get back out on the bikes is gonna be super fun. So this is just one part of many things that I do here at It's a Dyer Thing. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, let me know. Till next time, y'all be safe. Take care. Have fun. Be good. Don't forget, keep it covered. Bye.